I'm not ready to be back quite yet, if we're being honest. But we are. Guys, it's Perklane, and today we are back with Storytime Saturday. And before I even cut down to the little, hey, this is the game we're playing, let me just go ahead and give you guys a little warning. I am a bit sickly. You might still be able to hear the rasp in my voice, and that's because I made an awesome video with a couple of friends. We went and recorded that, and actually, I'll play a little snippet of it here. But like, when you
Hold on. Y'all see that TV over there? The truth.
I recorded that, but that required a lot of screaming, and it's changing temperatures down here in Florida. It was really cold, so I immediately got, like, my voice started to take a big hit. It hurt like a marasoka, and yeah. So, with all that said, guys, we are going to continue our trip into the slow descent of madness with the game that is Doki Doki Literature Club. And I must say, I'm not ready for whatever might come. As we've broken down, shit, Sayori is no longer in the game, and she's been X'd off of the fucking main menu. So I don't know what the hell that's about. But you know what? I don't even want to sit here and think about it any longer. Let's just get into this motherfucker, shall we? So when we left off, we were with we had just found the literature club, and we were invited by Monica. But there's no Sayori. We still have Natsuki. We still have Yuri, who, I mean, if I still have to choose a person to be with, I'm gonna be with Yuri. But, God, fuck, I'm not ready for whatever might happen next. So, let's just check through the history. Alright, so, we were just talking to Yuri about telling her how we believe her and what she's saying. So, let's continue. Well, tea and reading might not be a pastime for me, but I at least enjoy tea. I'm glad. Yuri faintly smiles to herself in relief. So, Xavier, what kind of things do you read? Well, considering how little I've read the past few years, I don't really have a good way of answering that. Manga? I mutter quietly to myself, half joking. Natsuki's head suddenly perks up. It looks like she wants to say something, but she keeps quiet. Not much of a reader, I guess. Well, that can change. Especially if it means I can get into them. We can get in there, you know what I'm saying? I don't know how I can make all these jokes when I know I'm so uncomfortable. Like, the first time when I went through this, like, the jokes came and they were genuine and whatnot, but right now I am a little, I feel off. Like, even trying to make jokes about this, because I'm like, just so, it's so odd that this happy perky nature is now still around, while I just lost my best friend in, like, the last episode. It's so odd. So, like, it's really weird. So I know I'm making jokes and they're half-hearted because I'm like, I don't know whether or not I can joke about this anymore. I don't know what else they're gonna just take away from me. So, what am I saying? I spoke without thinking after seeing Yuri's sad smile. Anyway, what about you, Yuri? Well, let's see. Yuri traces the rim of her teacup with her finger. My favorites are usually novels that build deep and complex fantasy worlds. The level of creativity and craftsmanship behind them is amazing to me. And telling a good story in such a foreign world is equally impressive. Yuri goes on, clearly passionate about her reading. She seems so reserved and timid since the moment I walked in, but it's obvious by the way her eyes light up after she finds comfort in the world of books, not people. But you know, I like a lot of things. Stories with deep psychological elements usually immerse me as well. Isn't it amazing how a writer could so deliberately take advantage of your own lack of imagination to completely throw you for a loop? Anyway, I've been reading a lot of horror lately. Well, So have I. It's called Doki Doki fucking Literature Club. I read a horror book once. I desperately grasped something I can relate to at a minimal level. At this rate, Yuri might as well be having a conversation with a rock. I'd expect that from you, Yuri. It suits your personality. Oh, is that so? Really, if a story can make me think or takes me to another world, then I really can't put it down. Surreal horror is often very successful at changing the way you look at the world, if only for a brief moment. Ugh, I hate horror. Oh, why is that? Well, Natsuki's eyes dart over to me for a split second. Never mind. That's right, you usually like to write about cute things, don't you, Natsuki? What? What gives you that idea? You left a piece of scrap paper behind on the last club meeting. It looked like you were writing a poem called Don't Say It Out Loud! And give that back! Fine, fine. Natsuki, you write your own poems? Well, I guess sometimes. Why do you care? I think that's impressive. Why don't you share them sometime? No. Natsuki averts her eyes. You wouldn't like them. Not a very confident writer yet? I understand how Natsuki feels. Sharing that level of writing takes more than just confidence. The truest form of writing is writing to oneself. You must be willing to open up to your readers, exposing your vulnerabilities and showing even the deepest reaches of your heart. I mean, I want to see the deepest reaches of something else. If that's an option, cause I'll take that one all day. Do you have writing experience too, Yuri? Maybe if you share some of your work, you can set an example and help Natsuki feel comfortable. Maybe if you share some of your work, you can set an example and help Natsuki feel comfortable enough to share hers. I guess it's the same for Yuri. We all sit in silence for a moment. Hey, I just got an idea. How about this? Natsuki and Yuri quizzically look at Monika. Let's all go home and write a poem of our own. Then next time we meet, we'll share them all with each other. That way everyone is even. I mean, I thought it was a good idea. Well, I think you're right, Monika. We should probably start finding activities for all of us to participate in together. I did decide to take on the responsibilities of vice president after all. I need to do my best to nurture the club as well as its members. Oh, look at her getting all confident, all confident, okay? Besides, now that we have a new member, it seems like a good step for us to take. Do you agree as well, Xavier? Hold on, there's still one problem. I didn't say yes, right? That's not what I'm gonna say. What's that? Now that we've reached the most important topic, I bluntly come forth with what's been on my mind the entire time. I never thought I would join this club. Monika may have convinced me to stop by, but I never made any decision. I still have other clubs to look at, and fuck, I forget how they do this. They all look at me like super sad. I lose my train of thought. All three girls stare back at me with dejected eyes. But I'm sorry. I thought. The girls exchange glances before Monika turns back to me. I guess I need to tell you the truth, Xavier. The thing is, we don't have enough members yet to form an official club. We need 4. And I've been really trying really hard to find new members. And if we don't find one before the festival, I'm defenseless against these girls. How am I supposed to make a clear, level-headed decision when it's like this? I feel terrible for letting everyone down in this situation. And besides, the club itself seems pretty relaxed. So if writing poems is the price I need to pay in order to spend every day with these beautiful girls, right? Okay, I've decided then. I'll join the literature club. One by one, the girls' eyes light up. Oh my goodness, really? You really mean that, Xavier? Yeah. It could be fun, right? You really did scare me for a moment. I mean, if you really just left after all this, I would be super pissed. Xavier, I'm so happy. We can become an official club now. Thank you so much for this. You're really amazing. I'll do everything I can to give you a great time, okay? Even sucky sucky? $5? $5 sucky sucky? Sucky fucky? Fucky sucky? Hey man, I gotta try for something right now. I'm still very uncomfortable with this. Let's continue. Thanks, I guess. Okay, everyone. I think with that, we can officially end today's meeting on a good note. Everyone remember tonight's assignment. Write a poem and bring it to the next meeting so that we can all share. Monica looks over at me once more. Xavier, I look forward to see how you express yourself. Yeah. Can I really impress class star Monica with my mediocre writing skills? I already feel the anxiety welling up inside me. Meanwhile, the girls continue to chit-chat as Yuri cleans up the tea set. I guess I'll be on my way then. Okay. I'll see you tomorrow then. I can't wait. With that, I depart the classroom and make my way home. The whole way, my mind wanders back and forth between the three girls. Natsuki, Yuri, and of course, Monica. Will I really be happy spending every day after school in a literature club? Perhaps I'll have the chance to grow closer to one of these girls. Alright, I'll just need to make the most of my circumstances and I'm sure good fortune will find me. Hopefully better fortune than the last fucking playthrough. And I guess that starts with writing a poem tonight. This is new. You have unlocked a special poem. Would you like to read it? Yes. Okay. Again, I say, this is new. Never before did we unlock a special poem. So what the fuck is this? And where is it coming from? This is plaguing me, so I need to read this, obviously, but... A dream. I was staying over at my friend's place. There were 4 of us. I drifted off to sleep while everyone was talking and watching TV. And in my dream, I'm still at my friend's house. The only difference was there were nails sticking out of the walls everywhere. And there was also someone I didn't recognize. The person I didn't recognize told a joke. Everyone laughed. I woke up to the sound of everyone laughing at something that happened on the TV. So the laughing was not part of the dream. It was the noise that woke me up. I wonder who that person was, and how they know to tell a joke at that moment. Okay. Either I'm gonna look way too far into this, or this is what they want out of this, is that Sayori was that 4th person who wasn't actually there, but who was there, who told a joke at the right time that I woke up from laughter. Theoretically speaking, at least. Like, hopefully that made sense, but I think that's more or less what they're trying to get at here. And for fuck's sake, can we just, like, have Yuri back? Can we just, like, have Sayori back? I really wish we could have saved her. Oh god, I feel so bad about that. Let's continue. Alright, so we haven't had to do one of these in a while, and honestly, I'm probably going to skip all the cutting and probably do something very similar to what I did last time. Not the cutting between, but I'm just going to make a poem. It's honestly doesn't feel that different. I'm going to make one for Yuri. We all understand exactly what I'm going for there, so I'm just going to cut this piece. Cool? Cool. I do want to point this out, and I know I said I wasn't going to cut together all the pieces, but we have just Yuri and Natsuki here now. There was at least Sayori last time, and now Sayori's not there, hopping around, so that's just something odd that I've noticed. I also don't see Monica, which bugs me a little bit. I don't know if she was there before, but she's definitely not there now. I made a similar one to last time. It's nothing super special. It doesn't really matter too much. I made it more or less for Yuri, of course, because I enjoy that, and that's exactly what I went for, so I don't think it's going to matter too much. If you guys really care about keeping those in, then let me know, and I'll try to edit them in next time, but it's just, yeah. I feel like they don't matter as much. You know what you make the poem for, and I made mine for Yuri. You guys already understand this. So we're gonna keep, oh my god. We're gonna keep going. After I die off camera for like 2 seconds. Give me a second. Alright, so now that I'm done dying, let's continue. Hi again, Xavier. Why does everything seem kind of off center? That bugs me. Glad to see you didn't run away from us. Haha. Nah, don't worry. This might be a little bit strange for me, but I at least keep my word. Well, I'm back at the literature club. I was the last to come in, so everyone else is already hanging out. Not sure if that was a visual glitch on my side or if y'all saw that visual glitch too, and it was planned. That was hot. Okay. Thanks for keeping your promise, Xavier. I hope this isn't too overwhelming of a commitment for you. Making you dive headfirst into literature when you're... I feel like the music just changed. Did anybody else hear that? I might be hearing and listening too deep into things, and I'm not sure. Making you dive headfirst into literature when you're not accustomed to it. That was not... that was not on purpose. That was on purpose. No. Nah. Well, come on, like he deserves any slack. Everything is still off-center, and it still bugs me. It is off-center. The music is slightly off. These visual glitches are happening. I'm bugging right now. I'm bugging. You already had to be dragged here by Monica. I don't know if you just come here to... I don't know if you plan to just come here and hang out or what. But if you don't take us seriously, then you won't see the end of it. She's in front of... Why is Monica in front of the text? There goes the music changing again. Something about manga in the classroom. Natsuki finds herself stuck between saying Monica and manga. Manga is literature! Natsuki, so... Swiftly defeated, Natsuki plops back into her seat. I'm sorry, Xavier. We'll make sure to put your comfort first, okay? Yuri shoots Natsuki with a disappointed glance. Anyway, now that you're in the club and all, perhaps you might have an interest in picking up a book to read. Well, I can't really say no either way. Like you said, I'm in this club now, so it only feels right for me to do something like that, if you ask. Wait, I didn't mean it like that. If you don't really want to, then forget I said anything, I guess. No, it's not that, Yuri. I want to try to be part of this club. So even if I don't read often, I'd be happy to pick up a book if you wanted me to. Are you sure? I just felt like... Well, as... Someone fix this music. I'm so mad. It's freaking me out. I'm legit bugging because this shit is odd. And this being off-center thing is still fucking with me. Like, so hard. Well, as vice president and all, that I should help... What? Did I read that wrong? Well, as vice president and all, that I should help you get started on something you might like. Yuri reaches into her bag and pulls out a book. I didn't want you to feel left out, so I picked out a book that I thought you might enjoy. It's a short read, so it should keep your attention even if you don't usually read. And we could, you know, discuss it if you wanted. This is... How is this girl accidentally being so cute? It's Yuri. That's what she does. She even picked out a book that she thinks I'll like, despite me not reading much. Yuri, thank you. I'll definitely read this. I enthusiastically take the book. Phew. The music keeps speeding up and slowing down, and it's fucking with me so hardcore. I want to get out of this. I kind of want to get out of this scene just because I don't want this music to continue doing what it's doing. Well, you can read it at your own pace. I look forward to hearing what you think. It righted itself! You saw that! It's been off-center the entire time. I feel like it kept getting more and more off-center slowly, but I don't want to say that because maybe it didn't and I'm an idiot and I'm just like adding my own thoughts process, but that's the one thing about horror is that horror gets like horror is really when you start putting your own images of what you fear. That really creates a horror, like a horror situation. So I could be scaring myself more than is actually going on, but fuck off. I knew that it was off center. I don't appreciate it. Now that everyone's settled in, I expected Monica to kick off some scheduled activities for the club. That doesn't seem to be the case. Yuri's face is already buried in a book. I can't help but notice her intense expression, like she was waiting for this chance. Meanwhile, Natsuki is rummaging around in the closet. I'm really curious to talk to Yuri a little bit more, but at the same time, I would feel bad from distracting her from her reading. I catch a glimpse of the cover of her book. It looks like the same book that she lent me. More than that, she seems to be on the first few pages. Crap. I think she noticed me looking at her. She sneaks another glance at me and our eyes meet for a split second. That only makes her hide her face deeper in her book. Sorry. I was just spacing out. I mutter this, sensing I made her uncomfortable. Oh, it's fine. If I was focused, then I probably wouldn't have noticed in the first place. But I'm just rereading a bit of this, so... That's the book you gave me, right? Mm-hmm. I wanted to read I wanted to reread some of it. Not for any particular reason. Just curious how you have come to have 2 copies of the same book. Would not be a story time without a Julia bark. I'm gonna go see what she's up to. I'll be right back. Nothing major. No needs worries. Alright, so. Well, I stopped at the bookstore yesterday. That's not what I meant. I mean, I just happened to buy 2 of them. I see. There's something fairly obvious that Yuri isn't telling me, but I decided to let it go. I'll definitely start reading it soon. I'm glad they're here. Once it starts to pick up, you might have a hard time putting it down. It's a very engaging and relatable story. Is that so? What's the story about anyway? Well, I look at the cover of the book. The book is titled Portrait of Markov. There's an ominous looking eye symbol on the front cover. Basically, it's about this religious camp that wanted to turn into a human experiment prison. And the people trapped there have this trait that turns them into killing machines that lust for blood. But the facility gets even worse, and they start selectively breeding people by cutting off their limbs, affixing them to... Oh, that might be a little bit of a spoiler. But anyway, I'm really into it. The book, I mean, not the thing about the limbs. That's kind of dark, isn't it? You made it sound like it was going to be a nice story, so that dark turn came from nowhere. Are you not a fan of that sort of thing, Xavier? No, it's not that. I mean, I could definitely enjoy those kinds of stories, but so don't worry. I hope so. Yeah, I totally forgot Yuri is into those things. She's so shy and reclusive on the outside, but her mind seems to be completely different. It's just that this kind of story, it's the kind that challenges you to look at life from a strange new perspective. When horrible things happen, not just because someone wants to be evil. But because the world is full of horrible people and we're all worthless anyway. I know y'all see this. I know y'all see this shit. I know y'all see this shit. I know y'all saw that shit. Ugh! I'm rambling, aren't I? Not again. I'm sorry. Hey, don't apologize. I haven't lost interest or anything. Well, I guess it's alright then. But I feel like I should let you know that I have this problem. When I let things like books and writing fill my thoughts, my whole body gets incredibly unintelligible words. I really want to know what that says, so I'm pausing it to read it out to you guys. But I know y'all saw that it was doing that thing again. I know y'all see this shit. I ain't crazy. I kind of forget to pay attention to what other people. So I'm sorry if I end up saying something strange. And please stop me if I start talking too much. I really don't think you need to worry. That just means you're passionate about reading. The least I can do is listen. It's a literature club after all. Well, that's true. In fact, I might as well get started reading it, right? Why'd she turn into that one bitch from the gambling anime? Why the fuck did she turn to the one bitch from the gambling anime? Y'all heard that glitch noise. Why did she turn to that one bitch from the fucking gambling anime? No. My poor little heart can't take this, man. It can't. It can't. Yes. I mean, you don't have to, but... what are you saying? Let me just get the book. I quickly retrieved the book that I had put into my bag. Alright, is it fine if I sit right here? I slip into the seat next to Yuri's. Yeah. Are you sure? You seem a little bit apprehensive. I'm sorry. It's not that I don't want you to. It's just something I'm not very used to. That is reading in company with someone. I have to go find out what the hell just happened. This has been an episode of distractions, hasn't it? Crazy. Well, just tell me if I end up distracting you or anything. Alright. Alright. I open the book and start the prologue. I soon understand what Yuri means about reading in company. It's as if I can feel her presence over my shoulder as I read. It's not a particularly bad thing. Maybe a little distracting, but the feeling is somewhat comforting. Yuri's in the corner of my eye. I realize that she is not actually looking at her own book. I glance over. It looks like she's reading from my book instead. Sorry. In the feeling of your body heat. I'm pausing every single one of those. Every single one of those, I'm pausing to see it because they're going a little too fast for me to see. You really apologize a lot, don't you? I do? I don't really mean to. So sorry. I mean... Here, this should work, right? I slide my desk until it's up against Yuri's, then hold my book more between the two of them. I suppose so. Yuri timidly closes her own copy. Once we lean in a bit closer, our shoulders are almost touching. It feels like my left arm is in the way, so I instead use my right hand to hold the book open. I guess that makes it kind of difficult to turn the page. Here. Yuri takes her arm and holds the left side of the book between her thumb and forefingers. I do the same with my right arm on the right side of the book. That way, I turn the page, and Yuri slides it under her thumb after it flips to her side. But in holding it like this, we're huddled even closer together than before. It's actually kind of distracting me. It's as if I can feel the warmth of Yuri's face, and she's in the corner of my vision. Are you ready? To turn the page. Sorry. I think I got a bit distracted for a second. I glance over at Yuri's face again, and our eyes meet. I don't know how I'll be able to keep up with her. That's okay. You're not as used to reading, right? That smile, that sly-ass smile. I see you, Yuri. I see you. She's trying to get this Dino is what she's trying to do, man. I don't mind being patient if it takes you a bit longer. It's probably the least I can do. Since you've been so patient with me. Yeah, thanks. And continue reading. Yuri no longer asks me if I'm ready to turn the page. Instead, I just assume that she's finished before me, so I turn it by my own volition. We continue to the first chapter in silence. Even so, turning each page almost feels like an intimate exchange. My thumb gently letting go of the page, letting it flutter over to her side as she catches it under her own thumb. Hey, Yuri. This might be a silly thought, but this main character reminds me of you a little bit. No, I don't relate to this character at all. Definitely not. Really? I was just thinking the way she second guesses things she says and all that. That's what you were talking about? Sorry. I thought you meant something else about her. Something else? Never mind. You didn't even get that far yet. So I don't know why that came into my head. Yuri, are you feeling alright? Yuri's been a little fidgety ever since we started reading. You can rest if you're feeling sick or something. Your breathing is a little... My breathing? This is definitely a different exchange than when Sayori was around, just saying. Just thought I'd throw that out there. This is definitely a little bit different than last time. Wee bit. Minus the weird text things. My breathing? Yuri puts her hands on her chest as if to feel her heartbeat. I didn't even notice. Anyway, I'm fine. I just need some water. Alright, don't push yourself. Yuri stands up and practically rushes out of the classroom. What on earth was that about? Xavier? Did something happen just now? I have no idea. Yuri was acting a little strange, I guess. So you don't know anything? Sorry, can't say that I do. Are you worried about her? Oh, no, not really. I was just making sure that you didn't do anything to her. I mean, I'm trying to give her this dick. I'm trying to dick her down. Does that count? I ain't do it, but I'm trying to. Is that cool? Monica, you cool? You alright? I can dick her down? I can dick her down. Okay, I'm done. No, nothing. Don't worry, I believe you, silly. He does this sometimes. It's nothing alarming. Alright, if you say so. Anyway, why don't we start sharing our poems with each other? Shouldn't we wait for Yuri? Well, she might be a while, so I just figured we just get started without her. Is that okay? Yeah, I was just asking. I stand up. I make a mental note of where I left off in the book and then slip it back into my bag. Who should I show my poem to first? Monica, because fuck Natsuki. I should start with Monica. Yesterday... I feel like I heard something, but I'm not sure if that was outside or in-game. Nonetheless. Yesterday she seemed eager to read my poem, and I wanted her to know I'm putting in effort. Hi, Xavier. Having a good time so far? Yeah. Good, glad to hear it. By the way, since you're new and everything, if you ever have any suggestions for the club, like new activities or things we could do better, I'm always listening. Don't be afraid to bring things up, okay? Alright, I'll keep that in mind. Of course I'll be afraid to bring things up. I'm much better off just going with the flow until I'm more settled in. Anyway, want to share your poem with me? It's kind of embarrassing, but I guess I have to. Don't worry, Xavier. We're all a little bit embarrassed, don't you? We're all a little embarrassed today, you know? But it's the sort of barrier that we'll all learn to get past soon. Yeah, that's true. I hand Monica my poem. Great job, Xavier. I was just going ooh in my head while reading it. It's really metaphorical. I'm not sure why, but I didn't expect you to go for something so deep. I guess I underestimated you. It's easiest for me to keep everyone's expectations low. That way, it always counts when I put in some effort. Insert that Eddie Murphy gif. That's not very fair. Well, I guess it worked anyway. You know that Yuri likes this kind of writing, right? Writing that's full of imagery and symbolism. Sometimes I feel like Yuri's mind is just totally detached from reality. I don't mean that in a bad way, though. But sometimes I get the impression that she just totally given up on people. She spends so much time in her own head that it's probably a much more interesting place for her. But that's why she gets so happy when you treat her with a lot of kindness. I don't think she's used to being indulged like that. She must be really starved for social interaction, so don't blame her for coming on a little strongly. Like earlier. I think if she gets too stimulated, she ends up withdrawing and looking for alone time. Suddenly, the door opens. Yuri! I'm back. Did I miss anything? Not really. Well, we all started sharing our poems with each other. Eh? Already? I'm sorry for being late. No need to apologize. We have plenty of time, so I'm more than glad that you took all the time that you needed. All right. Thanks, Monica. I suppose I should go get my poem now. Anyway, do you want to read my poem now? Don't worry, I'm not very good. You sound pretty confident for someone who claims to not be very good. Well, that's because I have to sound confident. That doesn't mean I always feel that way, you know. True shit, true shit. Gotta love that mask on, mask off type shit, you know what I'm saying? I see. Well, let's read it then. Alright, so this is a different poem than the first time, so we'll read it. We'll read through it and see what happens. Hole in the wall. But he wasn't looking at me. Confused, I frantically glance at my surroundings. Glance at my surroundings. But my burned eyes can no longer see color. Are there others in this room? Are they talking? Or are they simply poems on a flat sheets of paper? The sound of frantic scrawling plays tricks on my ears. The room begins to crinkle, closing in on me. The air I breathe dissipates before it reaches my lungs. I panic. There must be a way out. It's right there. He's right there. Swallowing my fears, I brandish my pen. Alright. So what do you think? It's very freeform, if that's what you call it. Sorry, I'm not really the right person to ask for feedback. It's okay. Yeah, that's the kind of style that's gotten pretty popular nowadays. That is, a lot of poems have been putting emphasis on the timing between words and lines. When formed out loud, it can be really powerful. What was the inspiration behind this one? Well, I'm not sure I know how to put it. I guess you could say that I had some kind of epiphany recently. It's been influencing my poems a bit. An epiphany? Yeah, something like that. I'm kind of nervous to talk about deep stuff like that because it's kind of coming on strongly. Maybe after everyone is better friends with each other. Anyway, here's Monica's writing tip of the day. Sometimes when you're writing a poem or a story, your brain gets too fixated on a specific point. If you try so hard to make it perfect, then you'll never make any progress. Just force yourself to get something down on paper and tidy it up later. Another way to think about it is this. If you keep your pen in the same spot for too long, you'll just get a dark puddle of ink. So move your hand and go with the flow. That's my advice for the day. I think that's the same advice she gave the first time. But I wonder how much this actually plays into the rest of the story now that we've gotten to such a weird spot, if that makes sense. Thanks for listening. Alright, let's go ahead and show our poem. We're going to finish showing our poem, and I think that's where we're going to end the episode. So let's show it to Yuri next, of course, because Yuri's main bae. Da-da-da-da. As Yuri reads the poem, I notice her eyes lighten up. Exceptional. Eh? What was that? Da-da-da-da. Did I say that out loud? Yuri first covers her mouth. Yuri first covers her mouth, but then ends up covering her whole face. Oh! He's going to hate me. You really didn't do anything wrong, Yuri. Eh? I guess you're right. What am I getting so nervous for? Yuri takes a breath. So, what kind of writing experience do you have? Your imagery and metaphors indicates that you've written a lot of poetry before. The only experience I have is the earlier save file that is now corrupt and gone. You know, regular shit. Wow, that's a huge compliment coming from you. This is actually my first time, really. Huh? Yuri stares at me blankly, then looks at my poem again. Da-da-da-da. Well, I know that. I just meant, Yuri trails off, unable to find an excuse. She traces her finger along the words in the poem, as if breaking it down more thoroughly. Yeah, okay. This is the reason I was able to tell. It's just that there are specific writing habits that are usually typical of new writers. And having been through that myself, I kind of learned to pick up on them. I think the most noticeable thing I recognize in new writers is that they try to make their style very deliberate. In other words, they tend to pick a writing style separate from the topic matter, and they form-fit the two together. The end result is both the style and the expressiveness are weakened. Once Yuri finds her train of thought, it's as if her demeanor totally changes. Her stammering is completely gone, and she now sounds like an expert. Of course, that's not something you can be blamed for. Things are so different, skills and techniques that there are so many different skills and techniques that go into writing even a simple poem. Not just finding them and building them, but getting them to work together is probably the most challenging part. It might take you some time, but it'll all come with practice, and learning by example and trying new things. I also hope everyone else in the clubs gives you valuable feedback. Natsuki can be a little bit biased, though. Biased how? Well, never mind. I shouldn't be talking about people like that. Sorry. It's fine. I'm not sure if Yuri is apologizing to herself or to me or to Natsuki. Do you mind if I read your poem now? Please do. I'd love to share my thought process behind it. Yuri smiles dreamily as if it's a rare opportunity for her, which itself is kind of funny. After all, isn't this supposed to be a literature club? Ghost under the light. The tendrils of my hair illuminate beneath the amber glow, bathing. It must be this one. The last remaining street light beneath to have withstood the test of time. The last yet to be replaced by the sickening blue-green of the future. I bathe, calm, breathing air, present but living in the past. The light flickers. I flicker back. Da-da-da. I'm sorry, I have such terrible handwriting. What? I wasn't thinking that at all. But it took you a long time to read. Well, I just don't read script very often. I actually think your handwriting is pretty. That's a relief. Also, I like the poem. Even though it's short, it was really descriptive. It wasn't too short? I usually write longer poems. Not at all. I'm really glad you liked it. I'll be honest, since it's our first poem sharing, I wanted to write something a little more mild. Something easy to digest, I suppose. Are you into ghost theory? Actually, the story isn't about ghosts at all, Xavier. Really? I must have missed the point. Well, I suppose you did only glance over it after all. But remember that poems often express their own thoughts, feelings, and experiences in their work. They usually do more than tell a simple story or paint a picture. In this case, perhaps the subject of the poem is only being symbolically compared to a ghost, lingering in our last remaining place of comfort, unable to let go of the past, and soon to be left with nothing. And that's a lot more solemn putting it that way. I hadn't even thought of that. That's impressive. It's nothing really. Yours is impressive too, so. Nah. If anything, I could probably learn a thing or two from you. You think so? Yeah, of course. You know, I was really nervous about doing all this, but in the end, I enjoyed it. I'm going to keep doing my best for you, Xavier. Me too. Alright, so I'm gonna run through Natsuki as fast as possible, and if there's nothing really that changed from last time and nothing crazy happens, we'll probably skip over it and I'll just meet you back here. So we'll see what happens. Natsuki. Well, that has to be part of the episode. Never mind. I don't want to do shit else. Nope. I'm saving. I'm saving there. I'm done. I'm quite finished with this game. I'm good. That's where we're gonna stop. Fuck that. Fuck this. Fuck this shit. Nope. I'm done. Nope. Fuck that. 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 No. I'm done. I'm done. That's where we're ending it. I don't care. That was odd. That was too much for me. No. This episode was no. Just no. Guys, you saw what the fuck happened. Guys, it's been real. It's been fun. It's been real fun. I will talk to y'all later.